let me share with you a gripping tale in novella form about reaping what you sow. Hey there, I'm Leah. Welcome to Pen to Paper. I'm excited to share another single book review, and today it's on The Boy at Number 9, Whitlock by Lewis Stevenson. I have reviewed Lewis's books before, well, notably The Boatmore Butcher, which was a serial killer tale on the quiet island of Boatmore. Oh goodness, I can't remember if that was the name of the island. And it was very well written, and so when I found out that he was releasing this book, I thought the cover was very unique and it drew me in. It's very simple. As you can see, it's just the backside of a boy with black and white, and the premise sounded very interesting, so I knew that I was probably gonna like what I would read. And I did. It was very different from The Boatmore Butcher. It's not about a serial killer. Really, this story is diving into how, when your fear takes over your life, how it can completely wreck your life and ruin whatever beautiful things have blossomed there. Let me tell you about the book. The book is about a young boy named Matthew Rose, and he lives in a very difficult home situation. His father is abusive, a drunk. His mother has passed on from this life a few years back. His oldest brother ran away and is now living his own life, and basically Matthew is left on his own. He has two close friends, a young boy and a young girl, and he's bullied at school. So really his only allies in this life are his two friends, and he does have his brother whom he speaks with over the phone, but no one's really there to protect him, and so he's constantly living in fear. Yet despite living in this fear, he knows he has something good with his two friends, but there's still something more he's searching for. That seed of goodness and hope inside him, he knows comes from his deceased mother. And his young female friend, I can't quite remember her name, I think it's Henrietta. I'm probably butchering it, it's probably not that. Heather, maybe Heather. She suggests that they do a seance trying to reach his mother's spirit so she can comfort him and guide him. Except we know how this all works out. It's not his mother's spirit that comes through, it's a demon that comes through. And in a moment of weakness and desperate need that he finds himself in, he is kind of led to allow this demon to ally himself with him and to kind of wreak havoc on those who are trying to hurt Matthew. And I'm not going to spoil any more than that, but Matthew obviously gets way more than he bargained for. And the fear, the crippling fear that was the catalyst to allow this havoc to happen, is actually leads to Matthew's demise. I won't say what kind of demise. Also, the way that this demon takes care of Matthew's foes, it uses ways that people have hurt Matthew against them. So also in that way, it shows that you reap what you sow, right? Whatever you give out will be returned to you in turn. But it also just shows that giving into fear, like Matthew gave into his fear, led to more suffering and less peace in his life than he ever had before, to the point where he is in complete despair at the end. So it was It can be a hard read for some people, especially, with physical abuse in the home. It's not incredibly too graphic, but it definitely sets the tone that this is his life and it's a hardship that he deals with. And so that might be difficult for some readers. But if you want a very in-depth look into how fear sows seeds of chaos and destruction, this is a very good read that showcases that very, very well. So because of that, I rated this 4.5, 5 stars. It's easy to read through. It's simple enough. It's a quick read. I believe it's, let me see here, it's not even 100 pages long. And yet it was so compelling, and even still, so I finished this the end of October. Even now, I think of it, and it's very fresh in my mind of the power of giving into fear and where that leads to. So it dives deep into that kind of psychology. So really well written, well paced. Matthew as a character is, you empathize for him, you feel for him. He's just this, run-of-the-mill kid who wants a beautiful life, who wants a nice life, and is trying to make the best with what he has, but ultimately he has no protection. And just on his own runs out of steam for trying to do the best that he can do. So he's very likable as a character, and the other side characters are also compelling, and what happens to them. So definitely, I wouldn't say it's a scary read, it can be a difficult read, and as I said, it showcases very well the consequences of fear and giving into fear. So that is my single book review for The Boy at Number 9, Whitlock. Tell me in the comments below, what is one fear that you had and that you have conquered or are doing well in conquering. Share that with me. It's easy to admit to fears that we have, but it's always good to acknowledge the wins that we have and just say, yeah, I had this fear and I conquered it, or I'm doing very well in getting over it, and I have a good support system, or I have things in place in my life to help me get through this. And I will see you next week with another single book review. Thank you so much for coming by to watch. And please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And if you are listening to this on podcasts, then please leave a review on any podcast platform that you're on.